I am going to use the Candy Mouse stamp set as well as the Sweet Word and Shadow die, the Fadoodle scalloped rectangles, the Shaker Maker banner die, and later on I'm going to bring in the Starring Hearts paper pack. I start out this project by stamping down the Candy Mouse with Copic friendly ink and my Misty tool, and I make sure to get a good impression. I start out by coloring the mouse with cool grays, and I am using a C5 to outline all of my shadows. So anywhere that the fingers would overlay or the chin kind of overlays the belly, just basically any place that you would see a shadow, I am putting in the C5. And I chose this because it's a relatively dark color, and then I'm going to pair this with much lighter colors. So my next marker is going to be a C3. And what I do with the C3 is I extend out all of the shadows, and then I add a little bit more, and so I start adding the to the body of the mouse. Now you have to remember that C3, because I'm only using a 3-color blend, actually a 4-color. This is my first mid-tone color. So I am extending out this C3 a lot more than the C5. Then I move into the C1, and the C1 is my lightest tone in the face, and then it's my mid-tone for the belly. And then from there I bring in a C0 to blend out all of the areas. And that's just so that I get a nice blend and we don't have any harsh lines. I did leave a harsh line above, like where the belly would kind of roll on top of itself. And that's just to make him silly. I brought in an R11 for the ears and for his cheeks, and I also put a little bit down by his belly. And then I blend that out with a C0 as well, just so that it's not as harsh. For the mouth, I used an E04, and I used an R20 for the tongue. Now I'm going to bring in chocolates. We're going to start with this chocolate-covered cherry. And I'm using an E29, and that's my darkest color. And you're going to see I leave some white space. That's for some bounce back color. Then I blend that out with a 2.7 and a 2.5. Then at the very top, I used an R24 and a 2.9, just to give the impression that it is a cherry. And later on, off camera, I do the stem as well with that R27. I bring in my Milky Pop white gel pen to add some highlights, and then I start working on the other chocolates. For this chocolate, where the white chocolate is, I just use an E42 and a 41, and that's just so that we don't have a blaring white chocolate, so it has some tint to it. And for all of the chocolates, I use the E29, 2.7, and 2.5 using basic blending skills, so I didn't leave all of those in. For this chocolate, I'm using a strawberry or pink chocolate, so I used an RV11, an RV32, and a 3.4 being my darkest color. And I just blend those in, and I use the exact same color dark chocolates for that, so I didn't leave that in. This back piece of candy I made pink, so I started with the RV11, then I put in the 3.4 and the 3.2. 3.2 would be my mid-tone, and then I colored that with a chocolate stripe. So I think this would be a cute card not only for Valentine's Day, I also think that it would be perfect for anybody that loves sweets or for a birthday. I would love to hear what you would use this stamp set for, because I know that there's so many. Now for this chocolate cake, I did bring in an additional color, and that was the E21, and that was because I wanted a brighter highlight. And then I just put some strawberry drizzle on top of that. Now we're going to start the background. I am using the black dotted paper from the Starring Hearts paper, and I'm using Distress Oxides in the colors of Worn Lipstick, Saltwater Taffy, and Tattered Rose. So on the top portion, I use the worn lipstick, and then I blend in the saltwater taffy for the top 2/3 or half of the paper. And then I finally bring in the tattered rose. And I typically blend all of my inks twice so that you get a seamless blend. Now, I did not go all the way down to the bottom of this page because I knew that I was going to bring in the patterned paper. So just to save ink, I didn't do any more. I think this is a good way to conserve. I love that these colors look like sherbet. It's a little bit of a non-traditional Valentine. It's not the red and the black, but we're still really embracing the colors of Valentine's Day. So I cut the black paper measuring 2 by 4 1/4, so it would be the same width as my card panel. Now I am bringing out the largest Fadoodles scalloped rectangle. Sorry, I'm a little bit off of camera for that. And I put that through my platinum machine off camera. Next, I mount that onto a black mat. And then I bring in the Shaker Maker banners. I'm using the largest 2. And you can see that I did the outline in black. And then I did the solid piece in white. I am not making this into a shaker, but I wanted to show you a different way to use this die. So here I'm going to layer that up, and then I place that onto my panel on top of the inked panel with the patterned paper just to start my design. Then I'm taking my Copic markers in a R24 and a 29, and I'm just making my own cardstock color. If you had red, you could do it, but I wanted a two-tone. And I used the Sweet Word, and I die cut that out, and then I cut it out 2 more times with white cardstock, and I stacked those so that it becomes more like chipboard, and then I mat that onto the stitched black outline. And then to get rid of the white, I use my R24. Now I'm playing with my placement, and I ultimately pop up the Candy Mouse image with foam tape, and I adhere that towards the bottom of the chevron. And then I take the sweet and I use my wet glue and I put that tilted off to the side. Using my Milky Pop white gel pen, I add some interest to the sentiment just to make it stand out on my card. And then, of course, because I like the shimmers, I added This Calls for Confetti glazed strawberry sequins. If you have made it through to the end of this video, I would ask that you would kindly consider liking and subscribing. I love hanging out with you guys. So I hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.